So, first off, why the focus on the hospitality sector? Well, glass packaging is the prime consumer packaging. The biggest markets for glass are beverages, solid and liquid foods, as well as cosmetics and perfumery. This means that inevitably, glass packaging is almost exclusively purchased in retail and consumed in households, or purchased by hospitality establishments and consumed in bars, restaurants, cafés, or other professional catering venues. I like to call these mega households because the products are similar to those you would find in a household. The difference, of course, is the daily volumes. To give you an idea, there are over 2 million establishments in the EU and the UK. 56% are restaurants, 25% are pubs, clubs, and bars, and 19% are hotels. We looked at what that means relative to population. It averages at around one HORECA establishment for every 248 inhabitants. But this is even more concentrated in countries like Spain, Portugal, Italy, Cyprus, and Greece, where it can go up to one for every 109 inhabitants. In those countries, you could say that a HORECA establishment is an extension of the living room. We estimate that almost 6 kilos of one-way glass is consumed per capita in the HORECA channel annually. But when you look at the distribution, the biggest consumers are in Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece, and Malta, which are all major touristic destinations. So a large part of this consumption is also driven by tourists. Major touristic destinations can double or triple their population in a single year. Within the HORECA channel, there are two types of glass packaging with two different collection routes. Products can be either packed in reusable glass, which is a product loop, or in one-way glass, which is a material loop. For the glass collected for reuse, you order a drink, and after it is served, the empty bottle is placed in a crate, and the crate is stored, waiting for the next delivery. The crate with the empties is then taken back to the bottling site where it is washed, checked, and refilled to be delivered again, and so on. At one point, when the bottling line considers the bottle is too old, the bottle will be discarded and will be sent for recycling. As a consumer, you can recognize a refillable glass bottle from a one-way bottle because it can have rings around it from the rubbing off from other bottles every time it is brought back to be refilled. In this scenario, recycling an end-of-life refillable glass bottle is quite straightforward, as its disposal is not managed at the point of consumption, but at the filling line. For one-way glass, you order a drink, and after it is served, the empty bottle is placed in a bin. When the bin is collected, the glass is sent to a glass cullet recycling facility, where it is broken down and prepared to be recycled, preferably to be remelted in a glass packaging manufacturing process. In the study we conducted on glass packaging in the HORECA sector, we focused on one-way glass packaging as disposal of these containers happens at the point of consumption, which is a much bigger challenge. We also focused our analysis on beverages such as beer, cider, spirits, wines, non-alcoholic beverages, and waters, considering these product categories represent the bulk of products packed in glass that would be present in the HORECA channel. Through our study, we were able to find out that of the 17.5 million tons of glass packaging placed on the market in 2019, about 3 million tons was one-way glass beverage packaging in the HORECA sector. It's impossible to estimate the specific glass recycling rate of the HORECA sector, but we can at least estimate that the HORECA channel represents 17% of the potential for glass recycling. And if you add solid and liquid foods packed in glass and end-of-life refillable glass, it's probably fair to say that there is an 80-20 split between households and HORECA in the EU and the UK. And this is also confirmed by data from the spirits and wine sector, as those product segments typically talk about a 75-25 split or an 80-20 split. So that would broadly be in line with our figures as well. In some countries, though, HORECA can have a much bigger impact. For instance, in Greece, the figure goes up to 78%, or Portugal and Spain with 39% and 36% respectively. On the other hand, countries like Germany, Poland, or the Netherlands have a relatively small share of one-way glass tonnage in HORECA, indicating a larger share of reusable glass in HORECA. That is why every country in every situation must be approached differently. Now, I said earlier that a HORECA establishment was like a mega household. Well, we estimate that a HORECA establishment generates, on average, 1.5 tons of one-way glass beverage packaging per year. In the UK, that goes up to 3 tons, and we'll be hearing from UK hospitality later on. And in Romania and Latvia, it's close to 3. So this means that an effective collection system for HORECA establishment needs to be put in place to help them manage this waste flow effectively and to send the material back into the loop. And this brings me then to the second question: why the focus on ceramics? Well, in these mega households, there are risks that glass and ceramics get mixed up when they become a waste. At the end of a long shift, separate collection may feel like an extra burden for staff before they head home. Now, if there is a broken dish or cup, it may very well find its way into the separate collection stream for glass packaging along with the empty bottles. Now, part of the answer is about convenience and making the collection systems as adapted as possible to the high volumes, limited storage space devoted to packaging waste, and the high collection frequency that HORECA establishments require, while ensuring cost effectiveness for the whole system. But part of the answer is also about raising awareness. Later on, you will be hearing from the glass recycling and manufacturing industries as to why ceramics can cause problems for glass recycling and why the point of collection is key to guarantee the purity of the material and ensure it is recycled back into a closed loop. To act on this very specific point, we felt Close the Glass Loop could play a role in developing a piece of communication that, with the help of our network of European partners and national platforms, could reach out to the 2 million HORECA establishments out there with a simple message: glass and ceramics do not belong in the same bin.